Johnson, he's a man. Dallas still stinks. Yo, how you doing? King Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. So all I gotta say is this: Lane Johnson is a man. He's a man, and he's going to be a legend, more of a legend than he already is, for what he's about to do in the playoffs. It takes guts, it takes balls, and Lane Johnson, man, hats off to you. All right, now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all the internet right here. And by request, this is by request, if you've been subscribed for a while, just double check, double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed. Now, I want to jump right into this because Lane Johnson is getting ready to do what legends do. What legends do. Obviously, we all know that the man is hurt, okay? He is hurt, and he's not going to play the rest of the regular season. Meanwhile, the injury he has requires surgery, okay? It requires surgery, which he is not going to get, okay? Eagles rumors Lane Johnson to play in the playoffs with a adductor injury. He's putting off surgery. More from Ian Rappaport. After consulting with numerous experts, including Dr. Williams Myers in Philly, Pound Eagles, it's pound, not hashtag, Pro Bowl offensive tackle Lane Johnson will put off surgery on his torn adductor to rehab for 2 or 3 weeks and will play in the playoffs, sources say. That's wild. The recovery time for surgery is 10 to 12 weeks. So Lane Johnson's 2023 won't be affected by when he has the surgery, even if it's in mid-February. So, what Lane Johnson is attempting to do is tough, okay? It's going to be painful. He is going to play through a lot of pain, and maybe, I'm sure they'll wind up giving him, something to help relieve the pain. I'm sure, but it's going to be tough, and you have to be one tough son of a bitch to get through all that, okay? You have to be, and that's what Lane Johnson is. Lane Johnson is a man. He is a man. Man, he is a pain-taking, big balls, testosterone-dripping, non-broom, non-dustpan walking around with man. He's a non-Michael Anthony, where's the fitness, dancing man. He is a man, because that's what it takes to go out there and do what he's doing. I'm not talking about pain, pain in my heart, my feelings, because a girl said she wouldn't go out with me, or because the Cowboys choked again. I'm talking about legitimate pain, okay? He is going to play through pain, okay? Pain. That is never an easy thing, and anybody that does it has my respect 100%. And Lane Johnson, to me, is just more of a legend. If the Eagles go on to win a Super Bowl and he plays through this, legend. And he's already a legend, let's be honest. But, even more so. I got a lot of allergies today. It's been raining a lot and it's got sunny today. But now all my allergies are flaring up. It's kind of crazy. Now, Lane is going to have to play through pain. Now, what the hell is an adductor injury, right? Ask yourself, what is the adductor muscle, right? What is it? Well, apparently it's a group of muscles on the inner part of your thigh, okay? The adductor muscles comprises of the adductor longus, the adductor brevis, and the adductor magnus. It sounds like we're talking about a third leg, about some baby-making scheme here. This don't sound like some muscles in your thighs. Sounds like the third leg. What are they talking about? But it's a muscles in the inner thigh around the groin area that basically tore. I don't know to what extent, if it's a complete tear or not, but that is what Lane Johnson has. I don't know if it's his adductor longus, his adductor brevis, or his adductor magnus. I don't know. But my adductor longus, my adductor magnus, and my adductor brevis is not in my thigh, if you know what I mean. Lane Johnson You got to give him a world of credit if he's able to do this, right? We saw Deshaun Jackson, remember a few years ago, he had the hernia problem, right? And he decided to not get surgery. This was like week 2 of the, I want to say, was it the 2020 season, 2019 season? Can't remember which one. They're all blurry as you get older. But Deshaun gets the hernia injury, right? And he decides to rehab it. And he's rehabbing. And it was like 8-9 weeks of rehab. Finally comes back, gets ready to play. Two series later, he's out of the game with re-injuring the hernia. He should have just had the surgery. He would have been back in like 6 weeks or whatever, and we would have had him for the end of the year. But he didn't do that. This is different because Lane Johnson doesn't really have a choice. If he has surgery, he can't play in the playoffs. There's no way he can possibly do it. If he can hang in there, it doesn't sound like the injury will get any worse or anything like that. He's just going to have to deal with the pain. So my hats are off to Lane Johnson. What he's trying to do is selfless. It's very hard to do. Pain is pain. And it's a matter of how much of it can you take. But shout out to Lane Johnson because I think it's pretty amazing what he's trying to do. Now, Nick Sirianni today was not really having it, right? At this press conference. He wasn't telling anybody who's playing, who's not playing. He wasn't even going to go there. Bob Groth said this: Nick Sirianni won't even name a starter at right tackle for Lane Johnson, out indefinitely with an abdominal strain. Nick really thinks the Saints will get a competitive advantage from naming the starter. So Nick Sirianni thinks that whoever he says is going to start is going to be an advantage for the New Orleans Saints if they know ahead of time. My guess is it's going to be Driscoll. I can't see risking moving Dillard to right tackle because we know he has struggled going there in the past. If you're going to do anything, you're going to put Dillard at left tackle and move Jordan Mailata over to right tackle. Jordan Mailata said today that he hasn't heard anything about him possibly being moved to right tackle. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because, a lot of times they say when you switch from left tackle to right tackle, it takes a while. It's like doing everything backwards. And I don't need him to have problems at right tackle trying to adjust and then Dillard having problems at left tackle. I say put Dillard in at right tackle or put Driscoll in there and then see what you can do. The good thing is this. If we beat the New Orleans Saints this coming week, we have 2 weeks of rest, including the Giants game and then the bye week. Lane Johnson is going to get this week off. He's going to get next week off. He's going to get the bye week off. So he's getting 3 full weeks of rest at least before he has to go again. So that's a good thing. So we do have a little bit of time with the Giants game and then the bye week to kind of figure out what we want to do there. Who the hell's calling? I get the weirdest numbers call me all the time. And then you answer it and nobody says anything. They don't say anything. It's like, don't call me. What do you want? Silence. It's like, what the hell? It's crazy. But anyways, he's not going to tell who's playing right tackle. My guess is it's going to be Driscoll. That's where I would lean towards it, okay? He's not telling. They asked him about Jalen Hurts. Is Jalen Hurts going to play? He said, it's possible he could play. Don't know yet. He ain't going to tell them that. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to play. My guess is he's not going to play if I had to guess. I hope he plays. I want him to play because I want to go end this thing this week and get everything locked in and ready to go for the playoffs. I don't want to have this thing drag out. But if I had to guess, if I had to put money on it, I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to play. I just don't. And then you have Chauncey-Gardner Johnson. Usually in the past, when dealing with Dallas Goedert, Avonte Maddox, and everybody that was coming off the IR, Jordan Davis, it was Wednesday. It was the Wednesday before the game where they would activate the guys off the 21-day practice window. Chauncey-Gardner Johnson has not been activated from that window, which leads me to believe that he is not playing this week. And if he's not playing this week, then, you're probably not going to need him versus the Giants. And he probably won't be back himself until the playoffs. Now you got him coming back in the playoffs. You got Lane Johnson coming back in the playoffs. You potentially got Jalen Hurts coming back in the playoffs. It's good to have all these guys coming back in the playoffs. I just hope that they're not too rusty. That's the only thing that I would worry about. But it doesn't look like Chauncey-Gardner Johnson is going to be activated. Unless they do it after this video is being made, it sounds like we're going to have to at least another week without Chauncey-Gardner Johnson. And I think you need him because I got to get Josiah Scott the hell off the field. The hell off the field. Get him off the field. Put Chauncey-Gardner Johnson in the slot. Then you have Blankenship and Epps at safety. You also have Anthony Harris, who they just signed, a few weeks ago. So at some point you could bring him up off the practice squad. And there you got something there. Otherwise, I'm very scared about the slot corner situation. Chauncey-Gardner Johnson is going to bail us out with Avonte Maddox being out. That's what I think. But really, Nick Sirianni is playing everything close to his chest. He doesn't want to give any advantage to the Saints. I understand why. It's a big game for the Eagles. Also a big game for the Saints. They're fighting for a possible division. Can you believe it? They're actually in the division hunt. So we gotta be ready. No games this week. You gotta go out and you gotta blast New Orleans into next year. I don't care. You put 80 points on them, 90 points on them, 100 points on them. I don't care. Just put points on them. You gotta win this Sunday. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it. So the return of Woogie is at hand. That's right. Carson Wentz, once again, is the starter of the Washington Commanders, just in time for a playoff run. Now, he has a big opportunity here, okay? He has a big opportunity because if the Washington Commanders, stupid name, one of the stupid names in all sports, if they win their last two games, I believe they're playing the Cleveland Browns and the Dallas Cowboys at home. If they win those next two games, the Washington Commanders will be in the playoffs. Okay, and if they're in the playoffs, they're most likely going to play the Minnesota Vikings. If they beat the Minnesota Vikings with Carson Wentz, the Washington Commanders would then have to come to Philly again to play the Eagles, meaning Carson Wentz plays at the link. After all, time for a double moonwalk in out of the ass. Denzel Washington out.